Hey, good evening, guys. September the 3rd, Labor Day. Yeah, I decided to let some cattle out. Yes, just let them out. Some of my favorite ones here that I know I can trust. Beef cattle are kind of funny. You can trust them one day, next day you can't trust them at all. But some of these are my purebreds I left out. Number 33, she's just coming out the door here. 43. Hey, Matthew. 43, and then we have a purebred Holstein out here. She's a really nice looking animal. She should be bred. She'll go back to the dairy. She'll be one of my replacement heifers. She actually has a name, but I can't remember it. But all these purebreds, they're all bred. I didn't get them in checked yet. This is number 60. She's a heifer from last year. So I put some grain out here because I had to try to convince them to come outside to eat some of this grass. It's too hot to trim around the fences, so I thought, well, I'll just let some cattle out and let them clean it up. But I think I take care of them too well in the barn because there's shade out here, fresh grass, fresh water, and they still don't want to come out. So I had to go get a little grain. Why do you raise heifers for the dairy? Well, the heifers belong to me, Nathan. I think it's Nathan. We're building a herd up. We want to get up to 100 head of Holsteins. I'm doing good. So we want to get up to 100 head of Holsteins, and then A, we'll milk them, or B, we'll have a big dairy sale. Depends on where the market's. But when you have good quality replacement heifers, and you know, you can usually do all right. She might be a little heavy, but I like them filling out pretty nice. She has a nice stand to her. She needs a little cleaning. She'll clean up out here. The family's doing good, John. The baby's doing really good. So, if this one gets out of my way here. It's been terrible hot today. They were calling for a thunder shower tonight. The radishes are up really nice. Why I don't leave the cattle out to pasture. The biggest thing is I like to keep control of what my cattle are eating, first of all. It's a lot more work, a lot more work. But we did have a pasture lined up here this spring, and well, a lot of you know it rained every day, the whole year. And I'm not making that up. I'm gonna move over here a little bit so I can see some of these nice ones. I'm not looking at that. It's all about beef cattle tonight. So the cows, we do everything a little bit different. And if you look at my cows, they don't look like they're neglected. You knock me off my seat and I won't be happy, 60. We do have the feedlot, which you see behind this cow here. They will go out there and have their calves. We have radishes out there, roughly 200 pounds of oats per an acre. And that stuff is really taking off here with this heat. So the radishes are up nicely. The oats sprouted. Within a week, that field should turn green. The way I do it here on the farm, you know, 60 head of cows is pretty much maxed out to keep everybody happy. This barn should hold 200 head, no problem. That would be feeders, of course. Cows, you need a little bit more space. What do you say? I don't like a black Angus behind me. They can stand out in front of me. They're being a little... This heat makes them a little strange. But I did put some mineral grain down there. And they kind of like it. She's licking it up. But amazing, some of these cattle don't even want to come over here and look at it. Just out there eating the grass. But anyway, so we raised the cows in the barn. And that's why we need to expand the barn. Thanks, Mark. A, she wants to hit me. B, she just wants to be on the camera. I'm not sure, but that's a nice heifer. So I only chose 4 black Angus to come out. And this 1 Holstein because I feel I can trust them not to run away. But if you look at that cow over there, she's a, if it's 43, she'll be a 3-year-old cow. And purebred. And you look at her back line and stuff, how she stands. She's a real nice animal. The Holstein, she has a nice stand to her too. Nice tall legs. We'll know a little bit more once she starts bagging up here. She'll have another 2 months and then she'll start bagging up. Yeah, too hot to work today, Donald. Me and the boy worked pretty hard. How long do you keep them for? Well, Matthew, that was talked about here before, but I like to get 6 calves out of them. And then we'll decide how they're holding up. And, I mean, some guys will get 10 to 15 calves out of a cow. Especially if you take good care of her. And, I never really want to push them so hard that they can't, you know, have a half-decent life somewhere. But, she has a little limp on her front leg. Good eye there, Douglas. She needs some hoof trimming up. On her front leg there, just her hoof needs a little trimming, cleaned up. We're going to do that here. Probably within a week, we'll have a vet come in, give them their shots. And a hoof trimmer will set up, and then we'll just check their hooves as we go. That's another thing with pen pack, you'll get a little sore of a foot. But I mean, and that could clear up too, getting them back out in the feedlot. But we don't usually have feet problem. Some of my cows have never been checked on. But as they get older, you know, we wear out too. After the oats are up about waist high here and the radishes are good established, then they'll go out there in the feedlot and I'll split it. I'll put 4 little padlocks, maybe 2, I don't know, it depends. I don't want them to go out there and just to take it out right away. I want it to have a nice right into the frost. So they can have a nice something to chew over the winter in time. We'll feed them so they won't need to eat actually out there. They'll just have a nice area to run and have their calves. Any trouble with mastitis being in the barn? So, no, I never had any. Black Angus are totally different than Holsteins. Thanks, Jeff. I think his question was mastitis with the cows. No, Angus are a totally different machine. When you wean them off the calves, you'll never have problem. We keep lots of pen pack on in the barn. They don't lay in wet slop unless it's been really hot. Now Holstein, she's all dirty. She'll pee in the same area and pee and then finally get down and lay in the wet. They're almost like a pig. Just to keep cool. I'm watching my back here. I have 60 standing right on my back. She's behaving. Yeah, so keeping your pen pack nice, and the way we have the barn set up to where the liquid's up front with the feed rail, I can scrape that out. The heifer bottle calves, are you raising to start your own dairy? Good question, Jeff. No, we're not going to start a dairy right now, especially with the markets, but I want to have a big herd build up. Our goal is to have 100 head. So, we're raising replacement heifers, and we do have cows at the dairy, milking. 2 dairies, actually. We were up to 3 dairies, and then we broke away with 1, and then we're just with 2 right now. We do have a lot of nice purebred, and not just junk heifer replacement. We have some nice pedigree stuff. So, what we'll do with this heifer for our first calf, we had her bred with a Angus, so she'll have a smaller calf and easier on her when she calves, and no problems. It's supposed to how this work. I don't have any. Yes, there should be some video in the back under the bottle calf series if you go down and check some of the older videos, but I'll do another video kind of on how we mix the milk if you want to see it again. Everything's done by hand with feeding the bottles, so it might take us a little longer. Dang fly. Might take us a little longer, but I like everything controlled and uniform is key in raising bottle calves. We run between 100 and 150 bottle calves a year. Hey Ralph, and I like everything uniform. Our death loss on the one dairy is 0, meaning all the calves that come in here from that dairy, not one will die. And that's a hard track record, and a lot of them come in for a low price or free. So you don't want to lose cattle when you get them at that price. But, and the other dairy is probably like a 1% death loss, and that could be weather. Hey, thanks for stopping, Mark. That could be weather related why you lose a calf. Now back to the bottles, we do wash them. We do wash the bottles with a Clorox and a detergent. Milk has a pretty high fat content, which is really greasy. That will attach to the inside of the bottle. If you don't get that clean over a period of a week, you will have a bacteria in your bottle, and you're putting that in the stomach of a calf. Every day a Clorox wash, rinse, double rinse, dry, back into the crate, right to the house, dry, and then ready for the next time around. I like your plan for dairy. It gives me some ideas. Yeah, the calves are being, our dairy cattle are being milked. We have an arrangement with dairy farmers. How many bottles do we have, or bottle calves? We have over 100 bottles ready to go at any time. Depends on how many calves come in a day. There's days you can get 3 calves a day. There's days you can get 1 calf, and then you'll skip a day. 60. So you want to come back up here and say hi again. Keeping consistent with the bottles and cleaning and the nipples. We buy nipples off of a line, and we'll buy like 50, 60 nipples, and I do cut my own nipples to the nipples on the bottle for the right amount of milk for when the calf sucks. You hit me, and I won't be happy, 60. I just don't trust her. I don't want to go flying off my bucket. Get. Like I said, don't trust them. I'm moving again, sorry. So we keep the bottles and everything uniform, cuts and the nipples. If anybody feeds bottle calves, I don't know what you guys do, but when you buy a new nipple at the store, yeah, she wants to hit me. It won't be the first time. Um, what else was I saying? We cut the nipples on the top to give the uniform feeding the calf, so it's not dumping the milk in the calf, but yet. Seriously? Go over there with your friends. So they're not getting a lot of milk too fast. You could give a calf too much milk too fast in a bottle, and it's going to go down the wrong tube, and you're going to get liquid in the lungs, and you're going to set your calves back. Another thing, uniform mixing. Keep your bottle count. I like to do 7 bottles at a time. A lot of doves are coming in the field back here. I don't know if you can see them. A lot of doves. There's a lot of guys want to go dove hunting. Keep your milk replacer cup uniform filled. Fill your bottles uniform all the way across. And I'm not in the business to losing calves, so that's why I take it very seriously on how to keep everything detailed, bedding. So I was talking to Andrew. I think it's Andrew. He has a big dairy in New York State, and he said he'd like to get into the beef cattle business a little bit. And I was telling him, you know, Holsteins are so fussy. What do dairy farmers like, Angus or Holstein or both? All dairy farmers only like Holsteins for milk. You don't milk beef cattle. Beef cattle are for calves and meat. But he has a big dairy up in New York State. Seven knows who I'm talking about. And nice thing about beef cattle, they'll eat anything. Anything you give them on the table. Holsteins will stand on it, look at it, and turn around and bawl. Hey Tim, how's Michigan? Thank you. And so I was just talking to him on Facebook here earlier. Yeah, right. What's her last name's 77? Why can't I think of his name? Andrew. Yeah. Yeah, he's up in. I don't know how you say his last name really. He did tell us one time. But anyway, I was talking to him about beef cattle. You know, dairy wastes so much feed. He could scoop it up and feed it to beef cattle, and you use all your resources to the max. And yet you're going to get a calf out of them or just have feeders. And probably for him, it'd be best to have feeders and just anything the dairy cows don't eat, you clean it up. Yeah, but I mean, Jeff, Holsteins is #1 in my books. The fat content and jerseys and everything else, but pound per pound, I think your Holstein's going to be your top producer. Yes, I did see the video, but cutting corners is not my game here on the farm. I'm not looking for an easy route for feeding bottle calves. I don't want to lose one calf. They have a great outfit, great way of doing things, but we do a lot more bottle calves than they do. We do between 100 and 150 a year minimum, and we do it all year round. Yeah, the weed eaters are out here working. This one here is a little rough. She wants to hurt me. Seriously. Just remember, I'm not going to give you any extra grain if you're going to keep acting like that. So there's everybody has a different way of doing their bottle calves, but we want to do it the way we want to do it. Yeah, they're fertilizing my grass too. But they're supposed to clean the weeds up along the fence here. They're doing a pretty good job. This is Grumpy. I'm going to give you a new name, not just 60. Grumpy. I never found clear buckets. You can order them online. Clear the white buckets, the little water buckets, and the water brackets. Maybe I'll put a link in where we found them and at a really good price. You could buy 20 to 30 at a time, I think it is. Or is it 40? They come in boxes of 40. And you can order all white. You can order yellow, red. I think they come red, yellow, white, and black. Yeah, that's right, Jeff. They'll have a higher fat content, but and some guys do throw some jerseys into their herd, but with these big dairies, they just like pure Holsteins. But most of our dairies have purebred Holsteins, just to keep their genetics and everything else all in line. And sometimes you get paid on fat, and I understand how that works, but the majority of our dairies are Holsteins. And then we have some that are jerseys, pure jerseys, and it's a little bit harder to milk because they're a shorter animal, and they have a little bit more of an attitude problem too. Like this one. They're all going in here now for the night. And I'll lock them in at night so I don't have to worry about them. You get going. She knows where she belongs. Yeah, Jeff, I haven't been born yesterday in this cattle business. I mean, look at her. She's going right where she knows where to go. So now they're all in. And I was hoping maybe one or two might come back out here, but they listen, yeah. There's a lot of doves. I don't know if you ever had dove meat, but they say it's really good. They're out there cleaning up my oats. The ones that didn't sprout. Alright guys, well, I just wanted to do a little bit on the beef cattle, and they're outside here, and we leave them inside, and I like control, bring them their feed. They came out here. Well, if the seed's sprouted and it's attached to the ground, well, they're not getting much. Hey, Larry. And as far as the bottle calves, everything we do is the same. We never let them drink out of a bucket until they're weaned. So, well, it doesn't work that way all the time, Doug. I'm not going to sit there and tell you anything like that, but she knew where to go. And we'll have them out here tomorrow, and maybe we'll talk about them a little bit more tomorrow. But leave your comments on them and stuff. And I know there's a lot of ways of doing things. There's not much meat, but I guess it's very, very tender, and it's a very delicate. So, hey, Dan. I hope you guys had a great day on this Labor Day. Me and the boy did work pretty good. Go stop them. They can stay in there. So we'll talk to you later, and if anything else interesting pops up, we'll have another video. So he wants to go away here a little bit, and I don't know what we'll do. I don't think it's greasy. I'm not sure. All right, guys, have a great evening. We'll talk to you later, and see what else we'll get ourselves into. Thanks for stopping over. Thanks, Douglas.